Hi everyone, welcome to another installment of the Thoughts on Education interview series. Today I'm extremely delighted to welcome Dr. P.P. Mohanlal, Principal of the Loth Mata College of Science and Technology, who's agreed so graciously to join us. Welcome to the interview, sir.
Thank you.
So before we start, to give the viewers a basic idea of your achievements, I'm going to speak a few words on your profile. Uh, Dr. Mohanlal is an eminent scientist and academician. He has 41 years of combined research and teaching experience. He's a fellow of the prestigious National Academy of Engineering. Prior to joining LMCST, he was a professor at the Indian Institute of Space and Technology, where he taught undergraduate and postgraduate courses. He was also a consultant for developing scientific payloads for Mars 2, Venus missions, and nano satellite projects, which are a collaborative venture of IIST with California Institute of Technology and University of Colorado. He has served the Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO, for 39 years, starting from 1977, and has held several positions such as Head of Division, Group Director, Deputy Director, Associate Director, and Director in ISRO. That is clearly a very impressive resume that Dr. Mohanlal has, and I would again like to thank him for taking time out of his busy day to join us today for the Thoughts on Education interview series.
Thank you very much for the introduction.
It's truly an honor to be sitting across someone as accomplished as you are. So, without much further ado, I'll start with the first question. Sir, being the principal, what is your philosophy of leadership, and how would you describe your leadership style?
Regarding leadership, the first thing I want to emphasize is the delegation of powers wherever necessary to increase efficiency in the system. And second, assigning the right person the right job. And third, making use of full potential of every staff, including teaching and non-teaching staff, to achieve the goals. And further, we have to guide the faculty in technical and non-technical areas, and we have to motivate the students how to update continuously, that is continuous learning, and keep up with up-to-date knowledge, particularly for faculty, so that they can interact better with the students. And then going on further, to plan add-on courses at this time for the skill development of the students in main focus and increase their practical knowledge, which is the area in which the whole of the country our students are lacking. A lot of emphasis were given, we have taken to do that, and that's very important. And also, there are several new methods to enhance teaching efficiency per se, from the conventional teaching to improvised teaching methods are available. So introducing that kind of techniques, and of course just full student friendly approach in all areas, that is important, because the cooperation of the students and their goodwill is very important for both the college as well as the students in total. And this is my view for the question. Yeah.
I think you're absolutely, you're very rightly said. I agree with all of that, and that's very eloquently put, sir. Thank you for that. Next, I just wanted to know, when you first came to Loth Mata College, what was your vision for the university, and has it evolved over time, and how far along in implementing that vision are you currently?
When I came here, because as you told, I have both research as well as teaching experience, I always had the dream of, our top IITs, Indian of Science, and those we have, I had a lot of direct interaction with them. So motivating from those things, I thought we need to develop our college into a top level national institute of very higher ranking and learning with international recognition, by equipping the faculty and the facilities to meet that particular requirement with quality research, startup initiatives for self-reliance of our country, societal service, 100% employment of our country of the students based on their aptitude and skill level. And this was the vision I had.
Thank you, sir. That's very eloquently put. So next, I just want to ask you if you could please describe in brief your views on the current adverse effects of COVID-19 pandemic and what that effect has shown on the education sector, pertaining particularly to the academic and non-academic systems of universities, and what corrective measures can be taken to overcome this effect, in your opinion?
COVID-19, as we are aware, has affected the whole world, particularly our country also. The one main important thing I have noticed in the educational sector, a lot of income reduction to the parents of the low income group, because they are not able to go for their jobs, because many of our students are belonging to lower middle class category. So those income got affected. Therefore, supporting their fee and other things for the continuing the course, we find it. We always support them. This is one issue. And then, as you know, that the contact classes we are not able to run now. We are running through the online courses. Of course, it has got the positives and negatives, and a lot of disturbance in teaching learning process and even evaluation, conducting examination in the foolproof manner. And that is one area of disturbance, the academic thing. Then, of course, we need to strengthen the online teaching and evaluation. What happened in the month of March, when this lockdown came, we were not totally prepared for the online teaching at one go. So immediately within a week, all of our faculty came together and we developed a platform for online teaching, even evaluation, and that is now in very good level, and it's going on very successfully. And of course, we had to overcome a lot of difficulties initially, and now that is going very well. But still needs, I feel, that some more improvement also. Then another negative thing what I have seen is the impact of this on the students' attitude. Students are at home having the online classes, so they have a tendency to be lazy, and they are not in our direct attention. So some of the students are going into lazy and not properly attending. That kind of attitude is there. It's very difficult to control. But otherwise, there are some students who got definitely benefited also, because we are recording all the classes 100%, and the links are made available to all the students now through our campus management software. So the students who are not attended initially, suppose there are some students like that, they can go through the recorded video lecture again and again for their learning. That is one positive there. And another major difficulty is the practical lab work that is heavily affected. And that, of course, we are making up to some extent using the virtual labs as much as possible, as you are aware. And of course, there are limitations, and that these are some of the difficulties that I experienced.
Yes, sir. I think those are issues that most universities and colleges across the country are facing, and I'm very glad to know that LMCSC is on top of things and are taking corrective measures to make sure the effect has not translated towards the students' learning experience.
Yes.
Sir, if I could ask, can you give us any insights into how your college could be more welcoming to students of different economic backgrounds?
As you may be aware that the college is managed by the Archdiocese of Changanasheri in Kerala, and therefore we are a non-profit organization. It's a charity organization, known as no profit. It's purely for focusing service to the society through high quality education and skill development to the students. That is our main thing. And in this effort, we offer substantial scholarships for meritorious, economically weak students based on their merit level, irrespective of the caste, religion, region, any such thing. Everybody is treated equally, and purely their economic level as well as the merit together, the scholarship amounts are decided. And this is sponsored by the diocese themselves through sponsorships from various people. And in some cases, we have free education for highly meritorious students without any fee at all, and free tuition for weak students in the evening sessions, remedial and additional courses for weaker students, very weak students. And all of this, we are doing education as a charity work. That is a prime thing that we need to know. And regarding the quality of the faculty, both teaching and non-teaching, we give a lot of emphasis. We evaluate them periodically. We guide them, give right kind of material. So we always keep a very high level of quality teaching, and we maintain a very high level of campus discipline. You might have heard that in Kerala, in some of the campuses, even government colleges, union activities, political activities. Our campus, nothing like that. No political activity at all. It is completely immune for any such disturbances. No slogans, no shouting, nothing. It's a fully disciplined campus. And we take regular student feedback on faculty, how they are teaching. That is there. It's an automated system. Similarly, we take the faculty feedback, that is wise in both sides, in both direction we take. Then we have an online grievance redressal system which AICT wanted to implement, that we have already done and is operational. We have an efficient campus management software catering attendance evaluation, online teaching, online learning material distribution. And we have a rich collection of journal and subscriptions, rich collection of books, resourceful central library, individual department level library, high-speed internet connectivity. And we conduct PTA meetings, Parent Teachers Association meeting, minimum once in a semester, evaluating the students with 100% participation. And also, one of the main thing I wanted to highlight is, every day by 10 o'clock, the absentees list SMS will go to the parents automatically once the attendance is taken, and it is automated. And the parent is informed if the student, suppose without their knowledge, going to the college, and if they are going elsewhere, immediately it will come to their notice. This idea, and these are the things that I would like to highlight for this. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I think many of the points that you raised are quite useful to students who are reviewing this right now, can give them a lot of clarity and information on your institute.
You know, I give more importance to the self-reliance. Atma Darbar, our Prime Minister have announced. That is the most important thing as the situation we are today. Product development, equipment development, research and development activities in our country in many different areas, defense particularly, space, agriculture, medicine and allied areas. And we need to promote this self-reliance. How we can do it? We have the large number of youth in the whole world. If you take, our country is the one which is having the largest youth potential. And if we develop skill level and knowledge acquisition to these youths effectively, definitely this Atma Darbar by our Prime Minister's announcement we can achieve. That is nothing but self-reliance in every area. And that is a central focus. And also, the university should come forward to orient the courses towards this particular goal, to empower the youth to achieve this particular self-reliance.
Yes, sir. That is very nicely put. So next, I would like to know what would you like the audience know about your college that they might not know?
Yes, we have many programs in our campus. We have engineering courses, all the core engineering courses, mechanical, civil, electronics and communication, computer science and engineering, civil engineering. And then we have Master of Computer Application. We have MTech courses in electronics and communication, as well as electrical and electronics, and also in computer science and engineering. We have a sister college in the campus which focuses on hotel management course, or Bachelor of Hotel Management, and BO in food processing. That is a separate college, but in the same campus. I take this opportunity to tell that. And we have excellent placement training covering all aspects like the aptitude test, interview training, in general software programming training, general building up general knowledge, skill enhancement, and special training for communicative English from the first year onwards. We have a separate teacher. It is not there in the curriculum, but we have included this as a special program to improve the communication English of the students. And about 15 add-on courses, we are running add-on courses in all the disciplines to ensure that the skill development in all branches are adequately taken care, so that they become 100% employable. And we have collaboration with industry and like research organizations and institutes such as Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology for building up a small spacecraft Earth observation station, satellite observation station. Then we have collaboration with Indian Space Research Organization. We have collaboration with Quest, CDAC, Winwish Technology, Keltron, Data Patents Chennai, Sendam Electronics Bangalore, and these are some of the major companies that we have collaborative things. And in addition to that, you see the co-curricular activities I have not mentioned. We have about 20 clubs and technical association activities focusing on students' co-curricular activities. Particularly, we have debating club, drawing club, photography club. There are so many, and technical associations, at least 2 or 3 associations in each department. They are very active. So this is the one I would like to highlight. Mainly our collaboration with industry, research, and other organizations, and the add-on courses. They are the paramount part. Yes.
Yes, sir. That is great information to have, especially the names of the companies you've listed. Those are some impressive names. So I congratulate you on having successful collaborations with these industry players. So next, I would like to ask you if you have any advice or suggestions that you would like to give to the current youth and aspiring students.
Yes, definitely yes. Earlier we were talking about the self-reliance of our country. And the message to the youth is we must be self-reliant. The Prime Minister's Atmanirbhar, that is the one I think is the most important. You may remember our earlier president, our Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He has mentioned several times, I was a very humble disciple to him when he was working in ISRO, because I was also there working with him. We stayed in the same lodge also. We shared the same lodge. So vivid memories. So he used to say, strength respects strength. That means, particularly you take defense area, we need to be strong. not to attack anyone or offensive. We want to be defensive. But to be really defensive sufficiently enough, we should be self-reliant. We must become a developed country. India is the country in the world having the maximum youth as on today. If this youth is skilled, they're all given the right skill and participate in the nation building process that our Prime Minister's vision, and then by engaging in upcoming development activities, because there are going to be a lot more development activities are going to come, because the electronics manufacturing industry in this country is going to bloom like anything. And already the software service sector, there was more strengthening of those areas going to come to our country. So our youth should utilize these opportunities for the developmental activities, and then our growth would become the highest rate in the world, and we will become a developed nation in a short span of time. And this is a message and the advice that I would like to give to our youth in particular.
So that's certainly a very inspiring advice that we can all take a page from. So thank you for providing that view, sir. Lastly, I would like to ask, how do you tend to establish a healthy environment in your college and make sure there's a healthy culture in your college?
Okay, I'll elaborate a few of them. We used to conduct lectures by eminent personalities, like vice chancellors of certain successful universities, very top level administrators, and motivation lectures by non-motivation talk speakers and technical lectures. And we have value education program, like in a semester, one day there is no class and everybody has to compulsorily attend value education, including yoga, meditation, and then we talk about we bring experts in value education. That is regularly going on. We conduct technical seminars, techno-cultural festivals, and celebrations of all major national and regional festivals in the campus. That is to encourage healthy competition, teamwork, and national integration. And we have 2 units of NSS activity units are there. Then number of society extension activities we have. We taken one nearby village, adopted one nearby village and doing all help to them. And our students also participate heavily in addition to the faculty. And a lot of poor people are around, because this is near remote location where a lot of poor people are there. They need support that we provide. While engaging in these kind of activities makes an automatic environment which creates a healthy relation between the students and the faculty, and the whole campus becomes very, very vibrant. And that is the way we achieve.
So those are some great points, and the fact that you adopted a nearby village, I think a lot of the colleges need to look up to that and practice similar practices, because that is one direct way to create social impact. Sir, I would, in wrapping up, would like to say that thank you so much for joining us today and giving your views on these matters. And we're extremely lucky to have you here, considering your profile and your past experiences both at ISRO and in the teaching profession. So I count myself lucky to be sitting across you and having this interview. We hope you and your institute all the very best in the years and decades to come. And thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.